How's it going, guys? Back for another one. This video is something that I just feel like I should make. It's not an intellectual thing, or it's not like I just it's kind of a feeling that I have, and I just feel like I need to say it out of the kind of out of the idea of balance. And as much as I talk about balance, or have talked about it, or whatever, I'm noticing an imbalance in myself that I would like to try to correct with this video. And what that is I guess, like, in even making this, I'm kind of well, I guess this is as important as any other video I make, whatever that means to you. So I have criticized the US quite a bit, and feel like there is large parts that I miss talking about, and like everything I say, I think stands on its own, but looking at the whole picture, there are things that I'm missing that I'm just unable to incorporate into it, which I hope doesn't discredit what I say, because when I make a video about something, I really try to like just take a look at the facts, and the facts are independent. You know what I mean? Like, if this fact is true, then so I think that what I've said so far does kind of stand on its own, as long as I give this caveat to it all. Do you know what I mean? And what that caveat is that I don't live in the United States, and there's quite a few things that come with that I am not touching on. Do you know what I mean? And so, out of fairness sake, I need to give a bit of a discredit to myself, in order to give respect to the grand scheme of things. So one thing I experience a little bit of, but not as much, is American culture. So I like all the entertainment I watch. Almost everything I watch is American. Canadian entertainment is just not even close. So that's like I get a little bit of a sense of kind of how things are through YouTube or whatever. But I'm not there, so I don't see the day-to-day. I'm not in the day-to-day, and that's like a little bit of a I don't want to say discrediting, but it's like something that I'm just I'm just without. You know what I mean? And the reason kind of why I say that is the U.S. has taken a very negative turn, it seems to me, and I'm sure it seems like to other people, in the last, ever since George Bush kind of invaded Iraq. And maybe people would argue at different times, but that's okay. Or 9/11, I guess. And the reason why I say this is because I've been thinking about terrorism, and what terrorism is it's disrupting the natural social order of things, and what 9/11 did is it disrupted the natural social order of things. Like, let's say what it is like you have I like to think of things in and refer to them as nature, because when things are working like they do in nature, like natural and just like kind of go with the flow but do what you need to do kind of thing, then everything is much better, you know. That's my kind of like basis for all this. So if you disagree with that, then you'll disagree with me, period. But I think the US like is still like seriously kind of feeling the effects of 9/11, and it sent like kind of ripples, and people are still scared of Muslims for some reason. Like you know, like I'm not going to go into stats about how not you know, about how they're not dangerous or whatever, because you know, it's just they're not. But like in general, they're just not. But like kind of what I've been thinking of is how like the US, oh, this fucking dog right here, god damn it, it's so fucking annoying. How the US is fuck, this dog is so annoying, I can't even handle it. Alright, so I'll just go over here. So one thing I'm missing that, like, I think if somebody were to design a political thing or whatever, like, they need to include, like every country needs a positive kind of force that's guiding it. Do you know what I mean? And I think the US has, like, the US needs to get that, you know, because people, it's much easier to draw people towards good things than steer them away from bad things. You know what I mean? It's just much more effective, and that's where my kind of ability to, like, my ability to help with that is not there. You know what I mean? I'm not able to provide that for it. Do you know what I mean? And so that's like a decent part that I'm missing out of my kind of critique of things, and that's where like people in the US need to kind of develop that and have that themselves. And so I need to, like, discredit my, like, what I've said, because I've said a lot of criticism, and that needs to be balanced with positive as well. There needs to be a positive, like, something positive guiding it. Like, what is the positive goal? Not about removing things always, because that gets, it's just too much negativity. You know what I mean? It's like people stray away from that. If there even is like 25% positivity, it makes it feel so much more balanced. And like, it's like, instead of criticizing things and trying to remove things, just have a positive idea to move towards. You know what I mean? So I said that a few times, but it's like a pretty necessary and like really effective thing, especially in this time. Like, people want hope. People want that positive reinforcement, because when they're poor, like, I'm poor as fuck. I have no money. I'm like really not in a good spot for my age, honestly, and I can feel that. You know, I can deal with the negativity because I've dealt with so much fucking negativity in my life, but and so it's like I can kind of deal with it, but like, it gets to you after a while, and you want a positive kind of hope oriented type of message, because that is what motivates people. It's like, you can criticize all the negative shit you want, but like, that doesn't spark people into action. That just like gets them angry for a little bit, which like, if that is used enough, then people get angry enough, to do kind of angry actions, but to act out on like purely based on anger and negativity, like you'll just leave a vacuum. And you know what I mean? Like by just removing everything, you're just creating this vacuum. You need to fill it in when you're done removing that with hope. And that's why it's so motivating, because it's like, okay, these are the things we need to work on. This is where we're going. And I think where we're going is not we, but where like what I see in the US media, like where the US is going is not really talked about at all, and there's like very little actual hope. So I think there's like a huge vacuum in the United States for like a message of like honest hope. Like it can't be this fucking Hillary Clinton, like fucking bullshit. It needs to be like real shit, or people will fucking hate it because they'll feel like you're just trying to play on their emotions. But if it's real, it is so fucking effective at bringing people together, motivating people, And I think that might be like a serious criticism that I have from the left. Like they criticize the negative, and the positives are kind of, they just assume that they're implied in the message because you're criticizing negative things. So it's like, oh, I'm good by implication. But no, you need to say those good things, and because that's what really gets people fucking going, yeah, I gotta say that, and so that's where I am lacking. You know what I mean? I'm pretty aware of, I think, my limitations, you know what I mean? And I really try to be honest about those limitations, because otherwise I would feel like I'm, like I like to speak to people in the way that I think about people, you know what I mean? And so, like, I don't talk, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what I mean by that, but like, yeah, I guess that's all I gotta say. And I hope that kind of reaches the right people, because it is something kind of like, it's a bit of a detrimental, like it's a bit of kind of a large piece, to the puzzle, and especially with Justice Democrats, and like there is points where I'm wrong. I'm not like, don't take me as saying like there's zero. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is I just think there needs to be more of like a pause. Like I'm not saying get rid of anything. I'm just saying just add a bit of like positive, like what is the fucking hope for the future? What's the vision? How do you see all this working together, and what's the vision of that for like the layman? How will the layman or whatever you want to call it, like the ordinary guy, how is the ordinary guy going to be positively affected by this 4 years down the road? And if you can communicate that effectively at this time in the US, I think there is like, because there's just so much negativity. People want positive. People are so sick of that shit. And that's like, and the reason why I brought up terrorism is like continually speaking negatively, and that, like, there needs to be some positive hope. There needs to be laughing. There needs to be people smiling, and there needs to, like, because that's healthy. It's like just criticizing everything all the time is just like, it's just literally unhealthy, because it's so unbalanced, and not to mention, again, how effective that shit is for people, and like legitimate, like, and the reason why people have kind of like strayed away from that is because what I've noticed is the politicians like Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, like when asked about things like that, where they're supposed to give a message of hope, what the message of hope does is it's making promises that they know that they won't be able to do, or they don't want to do, because they're taking money from that. You know what I mean? Like, to give an example, when asked, like, I think I might even include a video clip in this, because it kind of like irks me every time. It's like you're just so obviously giving a non-fucking answer, just so that you don't have to commit to anything, and so you're just giving lip service to things, and that's kind of become like how things are. Like, people have stopped actually saying things in politics, which is why, like, people are just like so not into politics, because nobody's saying anything. It's all just like a crock of shit. Like, it literally is, and that needs to change. Like, it can't be that way. There needs to be some legitimate fucking discussion. There needs to be some real discord and some honest stuff. Honestly, it's, yeah. So I need to say that, like, and I think that's the way that the U.S. needs to kind of move forward, is under the idea that they need, like, especially the left has an amazing opportunity right now to give a positive message in the scheme of Trump, of the negativity of Trump and the negativity of all the healthcare loss and all the this and that. Like, having a positive message, and not positive by negative implication. I mean, actually positive is just the right thing in the right now. That's what I don't want to say the right thing right now, but that's just something that I'm like kind of unable to provide, because I don't live there, and it's like that's like, if anybody were to criticize me, where it's like I would be like, you're completely right, that would be it. You know, it's like, yeah, true. You know, so yeah, I hope this helps somebody or something, and hope this reaches like one person who like understands what I mean, and maybe pass it on to one other person. So it's kind of all I can hope for this video. But yeah, I'm just out on a walk on Sunday morning. So have a good day, guys. See ya.